To add to that, a couple of things. The first one is that if you have very specific boundaries, for instance, you go like, I don't want penetration tonight. Talk about it in the original connections. You go like, what are your desires for tonight? So you have an original conversation where you set up the boundaries in a different context, so that you can set up the direction. Uh, Another tip that works really well is that if you feel like something is happening in the lovemaking or in the foreplay that feels uncomfortable, just say this. Can we just pause for a second? Just pause for a second, and then when the person pause, can we just breathe for a moment? If it's going too fast, if something is happening that you don't like, and then you can ask your partner. You can say, "Is it okay if I offer you a reflection?" Right? Ask for permission first. That way, it's
Mm-hmm.
not going to come out of nowhere, right? It's like if I'm there engaged and I'm sensualizing it, and my partner just says something, it's going to block my flow. I'm in flow state. I'm like really very receptive. So if we pause first and then offering reflection, sometimes it's easier for the partner, for the person to receive rather than that. The other thing that I think is very important to watch out is that a couple of guidance, a couple of things. Like for instance, Tara yesterday, she goes like, "Oh, can we go a bit slower?" Right? Just slower. So that's just an indication. It's very different than micromanaging the whole process, right? So micromanaging comes from a desire to control, to be like, "Oh, I'm not comfortable with that. I have to stay in control of what's happening." So I think that having a couple of hints here and there is very useful. Now, if it's completely out of line, say, just pause, can we stop for a second, and then have a conversation about the things that you love and the things that you don't love, so that the person understands a little bit more. And something else to understand as well about that is that practice makes you master at it. It's like, for me, we started centralizing with Tara more than 4 years ago. In between, we had a long break, right? But basically, it's like what I understand about her body today is very different than what I understood like 4 years ago. It's very different. It's much much deeper now. And it all came because of dozens and hundreds of love making and sensualizing experiences. Without that experience, I would not be able to please her or know her the way I know her today. So we discover much more about other people, potential lovers and partners, by engaging. The more you play, the more you sensualize, rather than being like, "Oh, I have to micromanage. This is the way we're going to do it, and do it once, and then nothing is happening for a month." No, it's like you sensualize every day, you bring it on in your relationship, and you play with that a lot, and eventually the capacity to navigate all of that in ways that are skillful are growing. And yeah, those are the general guidelines when we are confronted sometimes with some of potential shadows.